Hello everyone and welcome to another Reading with Barry video. Today we are looking at The Killer's Christmas List, and we are a few months past Christmas now, so hopefully this will not damage your interest in Christmas. It is a bit sinister to be reading at Christmas by the sound of it. The Killer's Christmas List by Chris Frost, a most appropriate name. All they want for Christmas is you, and not in a loving way by the sound of it. This was a part of the Works 3 for £6 deal, although I'm not sure if I actually purchased 3 books when I purchased this. I think I actually purchased this by itself. Should be on every crime reader's something. The sticker is covering something up, so let's remove the sticker. Should be on every crime reader's Christmas list by the look of it. Chris Whittaker, best-selling author, says. So yeah, 3 for £6 or £2.50 each. There's the author there with Harper North, UK retail price £9.99, so £10. There we go. Audio ebook also available. Cover design by Dominic Forbes. Well done with the cover design. Cover photograph shutterstock.com. Author photograph, author's own. So there we have what looks to be a bit of a blizzard. And lovely photography there in the background. And then the front, we have a cross. And then we have a silence figure, a little imposed. And we have very red fonts, very telling, red being associated with blood and death often in this country. The Killer's Christmas List, all they want for Christmas is you. Yep, and the spine, we have Harper North with the insignia, if it focuses, there we go. And again, the title, same type of font, very flat, very or somewhat dominant font, especially due to the colour, but it's not incredibly distracting. It's not, because there would be a danger of it standing out too much from the cover. So I feel it is somewhat settled, but at the same time, obviously being entirely capitalised, being in red, being the font that it is, it works quite well. Here we have what looks to be, is that black or blue? That looks to be blue. Chris Frost is written in blue. But I believe that is a very dark blue for All They Want for Christmas Is You. Would you say that is blue? It looks like a black, but I think it may be very dark blue. Okay, let's open it up. Praise for the best-selling The Killer's Christmas List. A truly killer Christmas chiller, you'll need ice in your veins to reach the stunning, twisting finale. This should be on every crime reader's Christmas wish list. Oh, that was what was quoted on the front. Chris Whittaker, best-selling author of We Begin, that's the end. Wow, what a Christmas crack of a book. Such a clever, twisty plot that's completely fooled me, with realistic, sympathetic characters. I am in awe of Chris Frost's plotting skills and hope this is the first in a series. Loved it. Joe Callahan, author of In the Blink of an Eye. I am not familiar with either of those books. Deceptively dark and unsettling, a perfect read for those winter nights. The countdown to Christmas has never been so terrifying. The Killer's Christmas List is complex, multi-layered, and hugely entertaining. By Marion Todd, best-selling author of the D.I. Claire McKay series. An excellent addition to your darkly fun and festive reading shelf. Brilliant premise and a very clever ending. I would dash through the snow to buy this. By Susie Holiday, best-selling author of The Hike. I do enjoy a clever ending. As twisty as a tangled ball of Christmas tree lights in your attic. Your own list won't be complete this year without this sharp, creepy thriller from Chris Frost by Callum McSorley, award-winning author of Squeaky Clean. So we have some new titles to look into. Absolutely brilliant. This twisty, turny, adrenaline-fueled roller coaster rattles along at breakneck speed and then, just as you think you've got it, tilts you right out of your seat. By Russ Thomas, best-selling author of the D.S. Adam Tyler series. A fiendishly clever mystery guaranteed to give you the chills this Christmas. By Leslie Cara, best-selling author of The Rumour. That's a good title. Frost has that knack for keeping you on the edge of your seat, scared witless while still wanting to read on, Absolutely fantastic stuff. Jonathan Wrightslaw, award-winning author of The Village Hall Vendetta. Prepare to be gripped, a cracking Christmas crime page-turner by Lauren North, author of The Perfect Betrayal. The Killer's Christmas List is a gripping, pacey police procedural with a cast of complex characters and a surprise finale. If you're after a great festive read, do not miss this one. Marie Hanna, award-winning author of the DCI Kate Daniels series. Pacey and intriguing, this is a chillingly clever tale of Christmas slaying you'll not want to miss, by Brian McGillivray, best-selling author of the Lucy Black series. Absolutely love the very festive and dark The Killer's Christmas List, which is written with the precision of a scalpel and yet is emotionally layered. Oh, that's high praise, that sounds good. Louise Swanson, author of End of Story. I'm intrigued by how it starts with a title like that, End of Story. That could go in so many directions. The Killer's Christmas List is an essential if you like your crime bloody, compulsive and knife-wielding at this time of year. Adam Simcox, author of the Dying Squad series. So it is definitely going to be brutal by the sound of it. This is one list nobody wants to be on, a cleverly crafted thriller that oozes class from every page, by Robert Rutherford, author of 7 Days. Okay, now we have the blank page and the Schultz biography. Chris Frost grew up in Northern Ireland and now lives in the appropriately named Marple. He is the author of 10 crime books, including the Erica Piper trilogy and the Stonebridge Mysteries. He is a scriptwriter and a regular voice on the Blood Brothers podcast and Friends of the North. He is a fan of football, heavy metal and dogs. What a combination. And then our next blank page and the title. And again, at very flat fonts, at very direct, not too distracting fonts. The Killer's Christmas List. Next blank page and title, author, and the Harper North insignia. Okay. Dedication for Sean Coleman for getting me to this point. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I always like reading the dedications. That's so important because it's, even when just a sentence or a few words, it is equal to everything that is written. It is someone's inspiration, someone's drive, someone's reason for existing, for carrying on, for writing a story in the first place, or it inspires the creation, the journey in some way. So it's the story, the book itself is a translation of the dedication or an expression of it. So the dedication is a summary of everything that is to follow. I always like to feel in some way, because it usually is so. So this Sean Coleman has obviously influenced Chris Frost in some way. Harper North, Manchester, first published by Harper North in 2023, so 2 years ago roughly, depending on which month it was published. This looks like it's 5th edition, just because there is a 5 there, but there's nothing else to say so, but never mind. Catalogue record is available from the British Library, as is law. Printed and bound in the UK. Mixed paper supporting responsible forestry, that's good. Okay. Next blank page, and then we have a quote, so I do like quotes as well. By Benjamin Amos from Foreigners. Memories are wild animals, hard to tame and impossible to order. They'll creep and they'll lurch, they'll bite your ankles too. Then they will turn on you when you least expect them to. I can see how that's going to fit in with what little I know about the story, but thematically, I mean, you already get a sense of a person being trapped like a wild animal, and then this quote from Benjamin really helps to encapsulate that. This is going to be across 285, I know that's acknowledgement, so 282 pages, so it's quite a short novel. That is a very short novel, 282 pages, but quite a lot is going to be happening, so let's see how this goes. So I'm going to read the prologue. I had never watched anyone die before, but that was about to change. I stepped out from my hiding place and walked towards the man in the chair. The warehouse was dark, aside from a thin shaft of moonlight spilling through a skylight where the glass had shattered long ago. Snow tumbled in through the hole, the man positioned just under it. It might have looked like a scene from a music video, were it not for the blood oozing from a deep wound on the back of my captive's head. The bound man looked up when he heard my echoing footsteps, but only saw me when I was close, judging by the way he flinched. Long black robes concealed my body, and a rubber Grinch mask obscured my face. "Please," the man started, but I cut off his words with a sudden shove, tipping the chair backwards onto the hard concrete floor. I was on him then, the weight of my body pinning him down, my hands tightening around his neck. The man tried to fight back, but his hands and feet were secured tight. Still he tried to back his hips and pull away. I felt his pulse quicken beneath my fingertips as the realization of what was happening spread through his body. He couldn't do anything to prevent his fate. He kept thrashing, though his movements became less frantic as he slipped out of consciousness. But I did not let go. I had researched strangulation and knew it took a lot longer than it seemed. Unconsciousness was simply the body's self-preservation state, like playing dead. Well, I had not come here to play. With one hand still around the man's throat, I used the other to pull the knife from my robe. For a moment, I marvelled at the simplicity of it, at the damage this sharpened piece of metal could impart, and then, casting all thought aside, I thrust it into the man's stomach. The skin gave way more easily than I was expecting, and I found my gloved hand immediately soaked in blood. I pulled the knife out and pushed it in a couple more times, adjusting the pressure. An old joke sprang into my head. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. Afterwards, once I'd lifted the body into the boot of the car and deposited my own blood-smeared clothes and mask into the river, I reflected on my experiment. If forced to choose between strangulation and stabbing, I'd favour the knife. In many ways it was a statement. There's nothing ambiguous about a stab wound. I knew I should probably get rid of the weapon, but I was growing fond of it. I couldn't just toss it away like a piece of rubbish. As I cruised down the windy, snow-lined A roads and onto the motorway, listening to the Ronettes sing about Mummy kissing Santa Claus, I couldn't help but feel elated. The first one had been easy, and I'd already started thinking about who would be next. Of course, I didn't want to lose sight of my first victim. The first would always hold a special place in my heart. I picked him specially, as he would no doubt make headlines around the country. I allowed myself a little chuckle at the thought of the broken, punctured body in the boot, as the chain of events I had just started. My plan was now in motion. The next week was going to be a lot of fun. Okay, fun is not how I would describe what I just read, so that's the end of the prologue. Well, again, unsurprisingly, it sure jumps straight in there. It makes no pretense about what type of book this is going to be, which in some ways can be a negative because, actually, interestingly, I'll use an anime example here with Dragon Ball when Krillin's thinking about Bulma and they all are afraid he's here seeing Frieza, and then they all start laughing and then Frieza does appear again. I love that because you have that beautiful tranquil and the Namekian music playing and then you see the horror that Frieza is still alive. So linking that in with what I was originally going to say, it can be quite effective having that scene, everybody's having a nice picnic, and then suddenly all of that innocence is taken away by something drastic. But yeah, they're making it very clear that this is going to, well, it has already involved a murder. I have a fear that it may be somewhat a senseless book. I've only read the prologue, of course, but that still does not invalidate my feelings that so far I have this fear that maybe it will be brutal for the sake of being brutal, but the quotes, and everybody has different interests, of course, but the quotes from people who have read the book, they seem to hint at a cleverness, that there is substance to it, so hopefully there is. It sounds like he is a narcissist, he's very self-centered in a very negative way, seems to want to make headlines, wonder what possesses him. Only fools seek fame, as we say. There's nothing good about fame whatsoever. A complete breakdown of privacy and so many other things, only a forward wants fame. So does he think this is the way to get attention for something he's gone through or is going through? I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm trusting in the author that there's more to come, obviously, that there is substance and not just stabbing people left, right and centre, but clearly that is going to be a factor. I mean, there's this reference to a Christmas list. Maybe some people will be saved, but presumably more people on the list will be bumped off. I'm quite sure, maybe as many as 10, maybe 20, who knows. So yeah, that was just a prologue. The writing, again, very, very straightforward thus far, just the prologue we have read. But there seems to be a directness, a simplicity. We get a very, very brief insight into his thoughts and how he thinks. Again, he seems to be a narcissist of some sort, because the way he's referring to himself, the way everything is blowing way out of proportion. I need to make the headlines somehow, not to defend some honourable or ethical cause, but just I'm going to kill someone just so I can make the headlines, see the effect, soak in the attention for the sake of attention, because attention itself is good, of course. Everybody needs attention. If you are watching this video, I have your attention, even though it's buried from the past. But if I look at the views and thus see people have you, then buried from the present. But at the moment, buried from the future. But buried from the future, who will become buried from the present, has seen views or will see views if people do view. And then I know that I have your attention. You have seen the video, and if you comment on my video, you are asking politely for my attention, and I give it to you by reading your comments and so forth. Attention itself is not wrong. Attention through trying to kill people is clearly wrong. That's not a way to get attention. There are bad ways of going about getting attention. This is one of the worst imaginable. And yeah, there are also wrong reasons, wrong motivations for wanting attention. I fear he has both, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, and stabbings all over the world, of course. That's a very serious, close to home subject. So yeah, I'm not too keen on that at all. Hopefully there is something more to it. Obviously, if it were gunshots, are still horrible, and talking about strangulation, that is also extremely distressing. So I will need to put some clear warnings in the description, and maybe add some captions as well, because this is clearly quite a serious and violent book. But hopefully there is something to it. Hopefully there is a moral or a story of some sort. That hopefully there is something which helps to have us understand the purpose of the book existing. What is the author trying to express? It could be something, I mean, in my novels, I have people who are running around chasing swords, which obviously does not mean that that is the world I dream we live in. Quite the opposite. The point is, like in my United Kingdom epic, they're trying to rebuild the world. They're trying to understand why people are going around with swords, and you can modernise and say guns, tridents, as in nuclear weapons and so forth. And they're not saying that swords are good. It's about their moral struggle, trying to understand how to rebuild the world. So I understand why I have swords, and he has knives and strangulation. So from the get-go, very, very intense and difficult subjects. I need to know why they exist in this book, what is going on. It is true that within media in general, and modern day media, of course, so including video games, there is so much violence, and sometimes it can be difficult to understand, or often difficult to understand why it exists. Is it there for the sake of it? Which is not to say that the author is implying violence just to get your attention in a negative way, because as I say, attention can be good. Everybody needs attention. In order to exist, you need attention, to get served at the supermarket, to whatever. But yeah, hopefully there is something to it. I'm sure beyond the prologue there will be something deeper, so I will obviously keep reading and see how it goes. But those are my thoughts so far. So the writing is very straightforward, very simplistic. We'll see how it builds. There are less than 300 pages, so I am worried somewhat about pacing. It will be a very short novel, but hopefully it works out okay, and I will have to see. Hopefully hopefully there's something engaging, at least something clever, as the reviewers were referring to. Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. Hello everyone, and welcome to another Reading with Barry video. My name is Peter Snugglemuff, Barry, Stretchy Susan, something or other. Hello everyone, and welcome to another Reading with Peter Snugglemuffin video.